Difference. We shall now have the felicitation ceremony of our chief guest for the day, Mr. Louis Matthew. Everybody, together, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the new batch of 2025 MBA will be called Luminaries.
Small human being with a lot of mistakes on my own. And let me start by congratulating the new batch for inaugurating your start of the journey, Luminaries. So let's give a big applause to yourself. Now when I stand here, what reminds me is of maybe around 30 years back when I started my journey in my college, doing my degrees and post-graduation after that. And this can be a time of, anxiety, time not knowing what comes next, how do we move forward from here, etc. The way I see this in my own perspective is that this is a new chapter in your book, a chapter that you have to write yourself. So when you look at a book, for example, you have read books, I'm sure, a number of books. Each chapter determines what happens after that chapter. So it's never one chapter is very different from another chapter. It's a transition from one to other. So if you write the chapter well in this particular chapter, that leads to the stories that you will write yourself for the next chapter. So that's the importance of the chapter that you are in today. So my request and message to all of you would be, do our best to write a chapter in your own story and in your own way, so that the rest of the chapters can be built on top of it. Now you may ask, how do I go about it? A lot of times our life is in such a way that we don't know how we are writing the chapter. We go back and read the chapter. Life is seen in retrospect. We look back and say, oh, I did this, I did that, and sometimes it just happened, not as part of a deliberate effort that we have put in. But when we look forward, the most important thing is to see if we can write the chapter the way we want. And that's what I request all of us to be deliberate about. Now back to the question of how do you write the chapter? What constitutes a good chapter? How can you go about it? So I reflected on it, and from my own experiences, I would like to share with you a few thoughts about how do we write any chapter of your life when you are going through it. The ABCD of chapter writing or story writing. That's my topic for today in some way. So let's look at what those are. So in my view, it's very simple, ABCD. We always say, what is ABCD? That's the foundation, that's the fundamental. So in this mode, I will think ABCD starts with A. A for action. Okay. Action is the foundation for everything that we do. Sometimes what happens in our own day-to-day life is that we act. Of course, we are acting every time. When you are sitting here, you are in some kind of action mode. Some might be thinking about something else, some might be fully here, some might be thinking what is to come, some might be thinking what happened in the past. But action is important. What is more important though is a deliberate and meaningful action. Okay? Not just any action, a deliberate and meaningful action. So what do we mean by deliberate and meaningful action? How do we know that if we are doing a deliberate and meaningful action at every point in time in our lives? So for me, there are 4 questions to ask to decide whether we are doing a deliberate or meaningful action at any point in time. Question number 1, are we learning something? through that action? Are we learning something in this moment, in this time that we are spending here, or any other time that you are spending on any effort? And of course, in your life, in your next chapter, a big part of it is learning. You will learn and learn a lot. The question you should ask is, okay, did I learn something new today? Did I spend time learning something that is useful to me? So that's question number one to decide whether we have made a deliberate action or not. Question number two is that, did we practice something? So learning can be one part, but there is something else you can do, practicing. Learning is knowledge, practicing is skill. So when you practice, you become better at a skill. The skill can be anything. Skill can be doing something very differently than you used to do before. Skill can be doing a project really well. So for example, I know the previous batch here is doing an amazing job in organizing this event. And that's a practice. You practice that. Big thanks to all of you. Amazing work. The point I would like to bring is, do it deliberately. Take the learning out of it. Take the practice out of it so that it becomes a skill. Because that's what you are going to do well in your future lives as well. There'll be a lot of opportunities to do it in your future. So the question number two, to decide whether you have done a meaningful action, is to check whether we have practiced something today. Now third, it is not just about learning and practice. It is also about contributing. So a particular action becomes meaningful if you are contributing something to this world, to your colleagues, to your friends. It's as simple as helping somebody. When you help, you contribute. When you support, you contribute. And there are a lot of people around you who needs help, collaboration, support, teaming. So if you are spending time in helping, that is also a meaningful, deliberate action. Fourth one, which is also important, which is taking rest, taking care of yourself. Sometimes we run a lot, do a lot of stuff, and we don't look at ourselves and say, okay, are we taking enough rest? Sleeping is a deliberate action in some way, provided you sleep well. And I believe nowadays the new generation, and of course even old generation, one thing they lack is sleep. Because we have a lot of stuff going on in our social media channels that can keep us awake. Your Instagrams, Facebooks, those can be very addictive. And I've seen, and I know it, I have my kids. We try our best to tell them not to, but they don't listen. But that can be very, very addictive, and that takes out the time. So meaningful action is not scrolling through social media channels, let me tell you that. So these four things, if you ask yourself on action, are we really learning something? Are we practicing a skill? Are we contributing to something? Are we helping somebody? Are we taking care of ourselves? If the answer to the question is yes in any of these, I would say that we have done a good day's work. And that's what I do personally. Every day I look back and check, and every moment I look back and check, am I doing something good today, something meaningful today? So being here is a very, very meaningful and productive activity for me and action for me. Sitting here, listening to the story of the college, how well the college is helping you to empower in your journey, taking you forward in your career and life itself, is a great thing to be part of. And also talking to you and speaking to you is amazing in itself. So that's the A of the ABCD. Okay, A is action. Now, what is B? Any guesses what B stands for? Belief. Exactly. What's your name? Gaurav. Gaurav said it well. Believe. Belief. And why belief is important? B for belief. Because what happens is, when I am at your age, I have No idea. And I'm sure you don't have any idea what is going to happen in the future. We don't even have any idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So how could you say that what happens 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line? It's almost impossible to guess. So when things are not predictable for future, there are only two reactions that can happen. What could be those? One, we just stay back and say, yeah, I don't know, future is not in my control, so I just go through this life as it is. Or you could stay back and say, okay, my future is good. I believe that it's going to be a good future. I believe that I'm going to be successful. I believe that I have a place in this world. I believe I'm here for a purpose. If you have that belief, that drives positive energy. And belief is so important because the path is not clear. You won't know the exact path to your career or your life. So what helps in that journey, in writing your chapter of your story, is belief. It's not easy to get belief. It is not easy. It is also a skill to create that belief. Every day you need to refresh yourself and ask yourself, do I believe? Is there doubts? Of course there will be doubts. Of course there will be point in time you think that yes, things are going to go wrong. Of course when you will see that, okay, will I pass that exam? Will I crack that interview? All those questions and doubts will be there. But that's where the belief is important. Belief is not about having confidence in clearing that particular exam or interview. It is much higher, much at a larger level. You may fail, you may succeed, that's part of life. But belief is overall general confidence in your ability to achieve something in life. So that's very, very important to build. So I would suggest B of ABCD is belief, and try to cultivate that belief and help each other to create belief in your friends, in your colleagues, in your family. It's so important. Now, third one, C. What does C stand for? Consistency. Anything else? Sorry? Confidence. Confidence and belief can go a little bit together, so maybe we covered that part. Creativity, change, courage. I think we have a lot of C's, and all C's are important. All of these are important. Sorry? Commitment. That is also very important. But what I'm going to land on is not something you are thinking about. It is a very simple action which you think is simple to achieve. Calmness is good. I love calmness. I like calmness. That's good.
Concentration.
Communication. Okay, I know you went 3 levels above me. You're thinking about all the big jargons, which you are all right. All those are important. Consistency, commitment, all are important. But why I'm bringing communication is for one reason. Because that's something we underestimate a bit in our lives, because we all communicate, right? We think we communicate, we talk to people, we are generally good in communication. But I wanted to emphasize the importance of that in your career and in your life. Because when you grow up, there is, in your whatever career you are in, whatever business you are in, your customers will be people, your clients will be people, your superiors will be people, your teams will be made of people. So all are individuals, human beings that you are going to deal with. Of course, there will be AI and AI agents and all those will come into picture. But ultimately, our life is about dealing with, interacting with individuals and human beings. And the success is in our ability to relate and influence. And the most important tool that we got to do that is our ability to communicate. Okay, that's why I brought C as communication. Okay? So what is communication? Communication is not just talking. It's not about what you say. It is also about how you say it. And some of you may be from backgrounds where English is not the native language, and of course, most of us Indians are not. But some are better and some are not so good. When I go back to my career, when I look back, when I came to Bangalore 25 years back, I'm from Kerala. We don't talk English that much. I studied on a Tier 2 college. We speak Malayalam quite a bit. But when I came to Bangalore, I can remember that I couldn't have a normal communication in English with my colleagues. It was very difficult. Even a lunch table communication was difficult. I knew what to say, but I couldn't say it in the right way. And then I immediately realized what differentiates in the corporate life and even otherwise is our ability to connect and interact with people, and communication plays a big role, especially English communication, because that's where the careers are mostly built on. So I had to really work on it. I had to spend time practicing it with my colleagues. I had a few colleagues of similar minded, challenged people on communication. So I do remember we spending time just talking in our half English, if I could call it, trying to figure out how to talk to each other well. But when I look back, the effort that I spent during those times really helped. Over the years, now I can communicate pretty well. I still don't believe I am the best. So I have arrived, and nobody arrives, by the way. We are all unfinished products till we die. It's a journey of becoming finished products is our life is all about. But the communication, training and learning is so important. I know we heard how well the college is doing with respect to the training on campus to corporate connection. And communication plays a big part in that. But I will emphasize that you spend enough time on your own deliberate attempt to learn and become better in communication. I can tell you one of the biggest determinants of how you will succeed will not be your technical skills, it will be your communication skills. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying technical skills are not important, but technical skills without communication skills is not useful. So get your communication skills done. So that is our C. Now what about D? Oh, you are all active. D, development. Delegation. Desire. Okay, that's good. Destiny. So you are all at a very philosophically very higher level than me, I'm sure. Decision. Yeah. Exactly. D for discipline. Okay. Without this D, none of the above won't happen. Okay. Let it be very clear. Discipline is the cornerstone for success. And discipline is not an easy thing to get to. So how do you define discipline? Do you know what discipline is? Anybody? You all know, heard about discipline, but what is it? Consistency and in implementing plan of action, okay. Time management, yeah. But I have a nice definition of discipline which I've heard from somewhere. It just sticks to me very well all through my years. It says, discipline is doing something that you hate doing like you love doing it. Okay, let me say that again. Discipline is doing something that you hate doing like you love doing it. Okay, and that's why discipline is difficult. So we talked about my marathon journeys and running and all those stuff. Okay, I'm not a great runner, I run. When you come into running field, you will see a lot of amazing people. I'm just a kind of a beginner there. But to get to run a marathon, you need to be disciplined about your daily runs. So you need to practice at least a couple of days or 3 days in a week. So waking up early in the morning, going for that 10-kilometer run as a practice is not easy. Okay, it is painful. There is suffering. But discipline is doing those things like you love doing it though you don't. Okay, then it all adds up. It all adds up. And in your day-to-day life, there will be a lot of things you may not love doing it. And it's not about doing something, it can also be about not doing something. So for example, discipline about not going through your social media indefinitely. That is not easy. You may not like not doing social media, but that's what discipline is all about. And let me tell you, in your life and in any corporate career, people who are successful, and you can take anybody, are having a very, very strong discipline in their life. Nobody succeeds without discipline. So that is the cornerstone. That is what everything else is built, and that's a skill as well. It is not, you can't say that, okay, I am born with discipline and my friend is not. That doesn't happen. It is something that you cultivate, you practice. And to practice that, you need to have the strong desire. That's important. That D for desire is also important. So, let me tell you, the ABCD of your chapter, I'm suggesting these 4 things. There could be many more, but I strongly believe that these 4 can really help you. So, one more thing about discipline is that it is also about making something as a habit. So if you do something which you don't like consistently for some period of time, that becomes a habit. And that's a big thing about habit. You want to be transformation, you want to be changing yourself and becoming better and stronger and a transformative leader, then the best way to do it is doing small things every day, continuously. And that results in transformational changes. It need not be like getting up 4 a.m. in the morning. No, it's getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning consistently. That is discipline. Studying for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours every day, that is discipline. And some people think, and people tell me when I talk about this, people tell me that, okay, discipline is boring you. You don't have a life if you are so disciplined. That's the gentle argument against it. But I say the other way. If you are disciplined, that means you are doing your stuff. When you do your stuff well, you can enjoy much more than anybody else who are not doing their stuff. Okay, so the enjoyment of life is much more stronger, much more deeper when you are disciplined about other parts of your life. So that's my reflections on ABCD of your story and the next chapter. Let me again use this opportunity to wish you all the best. I know you are the future. You are the future of our country. You are the future of our nation. And I'm very, very sure and I'm very confident that you will all be really successful in this wonderful college that you are in. And again, thank you very much for having me here, and really appreciate that I got the opportunity to spend time with you. All the very best. Enjoy. Thank you.
Words of empowerment, sir. We are indeed blessed by profound presence and motivational thoughts. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Lohi Matthew? With this, I, Vivian D'Souza,